Welcome back, and here we bring to you the top 10 most expensive foods in the world. Number 10. Matsutake mushrooms. Food is one of the most indispensable things we have to consume and buy every day for survival. Now we have crazy varieties, nuanced tastes and flavors, amazing food technology bringing different stuff to our palates, and so much more. We've heard of mushrooms, then we've heard of their expensive counterpart truffles, and then their very, very expensive counterpart Matsutake mushrooms. These mushrooms don't grow anywhere. They are mycorrhizal, meaning they grow only on certain tree roots in specific weather conditions. Matsutake mushrooms are native to Japan, but they also grow in several different Asian countries. They are rare, not just because of the specific weather conditions, but also the competition. They're eaten by insects, deer, and other animals, making them ultra rare. Domestic production of matsutake in Japan has been sharply reduced over the last 50 years due to the pine-killing nematodes, which has influenced the price a great deal. The annual harvest of matsutake in Japan is now less than 1,000 tons. Japan now depends on imports, which are cheaper, but the taste of the naturally grown ones is rich in umami and used in five-star cuisine. Mouth-watering. These mushrooms are so rare that their price now reaches as high as $1,000 for a single kilogram at the end of the season. Because there is no way to cultivate matsutake mushrooms, there is a high chance they could disappear altogether in the future. Hopefully a way is figured out soon. Number 9. Kopi Luwak coffee. The smell of coffee processing and roasting. We know the processing of coffee gives it its iconic taste. Now imagine the processing behind the world's most rich-tasting coffee. You'd expect something secretive, something rare and epic. It is. It is the processing of coffee in the gut of civets, and whatever it poops out is roasted and processed. Epic, right? Kopi Luwak is brewed from coffee beans that traverse the gastrointestinal tract of an Asian palm civet and were thus subjected to a combination of acidic, enzymatic, and fermentation treatment. Why specifically is this process done? Because the civet is said to choose the best of the beans, and the treatment of the beans in the gut brings out the best taste. And it does. It has a distinctive thin taste, which has general controversy about whether it is good or bad. This coffee is produced in industrial quantities in Indonesia, the Philippines, and southern India. Kopi Luwak is the most expensive coffee in the world. Its cost fluctuates between $250 to $1,200 per kilogram. That's some pretty money for something considered to be waste by another species. Number 8. The Densuke watermelon. In Western culture, fruits are generally not considered luxurious. In Japan, on the other hand, given the shortage of arable land, fruit is scarce, which causes its price to soar. Densuke watermelons only grow in Hokkaido, Japan. The rind on the watermelon is visibly darker, and the flesh is known to be much sweeter than the regular watermelons sold elsewhere. Experts say that the quality and sweetness and taste is much higher than the other melons in the market, and the texture is crunchier. The melons are also limited in numbers, which put them in high demand at high price. You should be able to find the melons in some select stores, but the best way to buy them is online. The black watermelon of Densuke is harvested in small quantities exclusively on the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido. One of these watermelons, weighing around 18 pounds, was sold for nearly $6,000. Number 7. Saffron. Saffron is a spice derived from the flower of Crocus sativus, commonly known as the saffron crocus. The vivid crimson stigma and styles, called threads, are collected and dried for use mainly as a seasoning and coloring agent in food, giving it a yellowish-orange tinge. Saffron has long been the world's costliest spice by weight, as the styles of the flower are in much less quantity. And the conditions in which the flowers grow also matters. It requires cold conditions, and these are very delicate. The cost of this seasoning can range from $400 to $1,000 per kilogram. This is because saffron grows for only 7 days a year in autumn. It's collected and processed by hand, and to collect just 1 kilogram of saffron, it's necessary to pick 300,000 flowers. Number 6. White truffles. Some of the truffle species are highly prized as food. French gastronome Jean-Anthelme Brelat-Savarin called truffles the diamond of the kitchen. Edible truffles are used in French and numerous national haute cuisines. Truffles are cultivated and harvested from natural habitats. The high price of these truffles is the result of the highly specific conditions they require in order to grow. It is also because of the special methods of collecting and preserving them, in addition to their exquisite taste and aroma. In Europe, 1 kilogram of white truffles costs around €2,000 or $2,100. Also, the regulation of their harvests and growth matters. In Spain, white summer truffles can be harvested only from May through July per government regulation. Number 5. Dry cured Iberian ham. Jamón ibérico, produced in Spain, is the most expensive kind of ham in the world. In Spain, the Iberian pig is fed exclusively on acorns, and huge areas are marked off for them to graze in. The cost of 1 kilogram of dry-cured jamón fluctuates around $392. Dry-cured Iberian ham, especially the one labeled de Bellota, has a smooth texture and rich, savory taste. The fat content is relatively high compared to jamón serrano. A good Iberico ham has regular flecks of intramuscular fat known as marbling. The process is quite elaborate. Immediately after weaning, the piglets are fattened on barley and maize for several weeks. The pigs are then allowed to roam in pasture and oak groves to feed naturally on grass, herbs, acorns, chestnuts, and roots until the slaughtering time approaches. At that point, the diet may be strictly limited to olives, chestnuts, or acorns for the best quality jamón ibérico, or maybe a mix of acorns and commercial feed for lesser qualities. The hams from the slaughtered pigs are salted and left to begin drying for 2 weeks, after which they are rinsed and left to dry for another 4 to 6 weeks. The curing process then takes at least 12 months, although some producers cure their jamóns ibéricos for up to 48 months. Number 4. Japanese Wagyu steaks. Wagyu steaks, made from Japanese beef, are one of the tastiest and most expensive delicacies in the world. The meat has an amazing aroma, the second highest possible score for marbling, and a famous buttery texture. Wagyu beef, which is the transcendently tender, fatty, umami-rich steak, has become as synonymous with luxury as caviar or black truffles. But no matter how many Michelin-starred menus this delicacy graces, all of the facts about Wagyu steak still tend to elude even the most seasoned diners. In Japan, the purebred Wagyu bull calves used to produce the meat are given massages, drink beer, and play classical music. This is to reduce stress levels and release all the good hormones in their body, which is thought to make the meat amazing. The cost of 1 kilogram of this kind of meat can be as high as $450 to $600. If this list didn't blow your mind so far, the top 3 definitely will. Here they are in all their glory. Number 3. Moose cheese. We've all heard that cheese is quite expensive and some cost a lot, but then we'll be mostly expecting cow and goat cheese. But what if the most expensive cheese isn't from a cow or a goat? Which animal cheese is ranked highest in price? One of the most expensive cheeses in the world is moose cheese, which is produced in only one place, on the Moose House Farm in Sweden. Moose milk is required to produce it. Moose cheese is white in color, and its appearance is reminiscent of feta cheese. It costs around €1,000 or $1,074 per kilogram, and it's made in very limited quantities. If you're wondering how it tastes, well, it is a smooth textured taste and is slightly acidic in flavor. We sure hope to taste it someday. Number 2. Swallow's nest soup. The Chinese are quite popular for their weird tastes. This just takes the cake. The nest of these birds is made almost entirely from their saliva, without any additions of foreign material. Consequently, their nests have become a delicacy in Chinese cooking. The high price of this dish is easily explained. Collecting swallows' nests is somewhat a dangerous occupation. The birds build their nests on sheer cliffs, where the risk of falling off is very high. The cost of this delicacy is thus around $3,000 per kilogram. Number 1. White pearl albino caviar. Caviar is another luxury item of the haute cuisine. 1 kilogram of this caviar costs 8,500 euros or $9,100. The albino sturgeon is a kind of large fish that lives in the Caspian Sea. The cost of the caviar is so high on account of the fact that the eggs from the albino sturgeon are procured very rarely, only when they're estimated to be about 100 years old. The older fish's caviar is preferred for having a more aromatic and softer roe. The taste is very different and is saltier and has more umami. Often restaurants place it with snail caviar, and this can be distinguished by snail caviar having a more earthy flavor. Caviar from albino sterlet sturgeons caught in Belgium is also white, similar in appearance to white beluga caviar. Sterlet sturgeon roe is usually ranked second to that of beluga sturgeons, which tends to have a creamier and richer taste. The same applies to the white variation from albino fish. In fact, the packaging of this caviar is done in a box lined with 24-karat gold, adding $1,000 more for just the packaging. So that was the list, guys. Let us know in the comments if you've tasted any of these. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such content. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.